All right, guys, welcome back to another video. We got a lot to talk about today, and we will start off here with the biggest phenomenon in gaming right now, which is Power World. And Power World continues to grow. People keep talking about it. The numbers aren't falling off. And we got an official announcement from Power World themselves in terms of how many players have actually jumped into this game and what they did, which is nice because I think a lot of people were debating about this was where were these players coming from? Was there really not that many from Xbox, and the majority of them were on Steam? And now we know that that is not the case. There's actually a ton of players that have joined and played Power World via Xbox, Xbox Game Pass, setting a record for Xbox Game Pass, all of those types of things. So first of all, the overall number of people that have jumped into Power World so far have been 19 million players since it launched. And as we know, this was a day and date game on Xbox Game Pass. It is a console exclusive for Xbox and then obviously available as well on PC. So 12 million are via Steam and PC, and 7 million are via the Xbox console and Windows PC. Xbox has put out this announcement, and they say here that, first of all, in the first 10 days as a part of the Xbox Game Preview, Xbox players have made it the biggest third-party Game Pass launch in its history. So it's massive. And then they say that across console and Windows PC, Power World has welcomed more than 7 million players and has recently reached a peak of nearly 3 million daily active users on Xbox, making it the most played game on the platform at that time. So just huge numbers. I'm sure Xbox is looking at this and they are extremely happy as to what is going on for a couple of reasons. First of all, Power World is from Pocket Pair. It is a smaller indie developer. They put out Craftopia previous to that, which I believe was also on Xbox Game Pass. So I would assume that Xbox didn't have to pay an insane amount of money to get this game day and date on to the Xbox platform, onto Xbox Game Pass. And obviously it is paying off in dividends here with it being the most popular game. 3 million daily active users that are directly in the Xbox ecosystem because of this game. So just a huge success there for a deal that obviously Microsoft went out and made sure that they had on their platform. And then secondly, this is a Japanese developer and they have a relationship with them. And you would think that, hey, with these types of numbers, with this type of success, with a game like Power World, potentially they'd want to go and further that relationship in the way of an acquisition of some sort. It would check off a bunch of things. Another developer in Japan, it would appeal to gamers in that region. It is a smaller developer they've already been working with now for a little bit here, and they've kind of been able to see their process. And they kind of are hinting towards increasing that relationship with Pocket Pair at the end of this article. As they do say, on Xbox's part, we're working with Pocket Pair to help provide support for Xbox versions of the game. We're providing support to enable dedicated servers, which is massive, offer engineering resources to help with the GPU and memory optimization, speeding up the process to make Power World updates available for players, and working with the team to optimize the title for our platform. So it's kind of funny. Took 7 million players for Xbox to look at this and say, hey, we probably should be making sure that this game is as good on Xbox as it is on PC. Now, gameplay wise and everything, it's essentially the exact same, and it's fun and it works well and all of those things. But there are some features on PC that do set it apart. The main major one here are the dedicated servers. In fact, I'm playing it on Steam. I played it on Xbox Start, and then I went and bought a Steam version because I have people in my family that want to jump in and play this game, and I wanted to have my own server and everything, and I was only able to do that on Steam, which is unfortunate because we have Game Pass and everyone is able to play on Game Pass. But now that they're saying here that they're going to bring dedicated servers over, that is going to be huge to make sure that this game is on par with the Steam version. That was probably one of the biggest things that differentiated the game, and a lot of people were kind of annoyed about that if they wanted to jump into a server with 32 people that you're going to be able to play with, and everybody working on their own base and catching their own pals, and the host doesn't actually have to be playing the game if you have those dedicated servers. So that's awesome. The second thing was the speeding up the process to make Power World updates. Well, it was one of the issues. Right as this game launched, you actually had Pocket Pair come out and say that their update for the Xbox version is coming. It is just stuck in their verification process at this point. So that is seemingly going to be going away. And this is showing that Xbox wants to invest more in this game. They want to invest more in Pocket Pair because they're seeing how successful it is. And maybe it means Phil has his sights on Pocket Pair as a future acquisition for Xbox. It just makes a lot of sense if they were to do this, or even just build out this partnership further, where everything that Pocket Pair creates is going to have some sort of console Game Pass deal with Xbox. I think make a ton of sense from the Xbox business perspective, but insanely successful Palworld, and we will see how this continues to grow as more content comes out, as it gets out of game preview, as the kinks get worked out. It's just only going to be getting better from here. All right, let's talk about some new Xbox controllers. We know Xbox love their controllers, but they have announced here the Vapor Xbox Wireless Controller Collection. You can see all of the colors up here. I mean, it's really not my cup of tea, but I mean, for some people, they will probably think these look great. And these are actually going to be available within the Xbox Design Lab. So you can go in there and make sure that if that's what you like, that your custom controller has those designs. And they will also be able to be pre-ordered. The Dream Vapor Special Edition controller will be able to be pre-ordered, they say, in select Xbox markets worldwide for $70 US. Now, we did see yesterday that there was, I guess you could say, a leak or an early listing of a new Xbox controller that was showing up on Amazon. It did have this pricing, so I'm guessing this is what it is for. I don't think it is for that new premium controller that we saw within the FTC documents, which I do hope they actually do announce and do release, because it looks pretty cool with the features that they were going to be adding onto that. I'm guessing we will get an announcement for that later on this year when they, I'm assuming, announce the Xbox Series X digital consoles. So if you are looking for a new controller, however, these ones are available and you can go check them out on Xbox Design Labs, or just order the special edition version of the controller. Now, yesterday we also did talk about Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad to me is just a very, very interesting release, a very interesting game, because I think it looks really fun. I played the beta. I did enjoy what I played, but I am out on the fence about this game. I don't know if I want to spend the money to jump in and play Suicide Squad based off of some of the things that I've been hearing about the length of the campaign. I don't like some of the cutscenes that have been leaked that I saw, although the acting overall seems pretty good. I don't like the decision that they did go with some of the characters, but then I've seen gameplay, and the gameplay looks a lot of fun. And some reviews have been coming out, like VGC put out the review, gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I've seen a lot of people on my Twitter saying it's a really fun game. So it's one of those ones that you can't really tell if that tornado of negativity has just ruined the experience for a lot of people, and it's not actually as bad as some people are saying, and it is actually fun, and maybe it's worth people's time. But one of the things that is true is that they had an absolutely brutal launch with the early access, the $100 version of this game, and people were not able to jump in and play early because of server issues. Now, those have been fixed. And my opinion on this was, if you're buying something for early access and it doesn't work, I would be getting a refund instantly and just making sure I got my money back, and maybe waiting a little bit here until the game reduced in price, or maybe picking up a standard version later on, because the main reason people pay that extra money is to get that early access so they can play before everybody else. And that's been fixed. And now WB and Rocksteady, they've actually stepped in, and it looks like they are making up for this. They are going to be offering $20 to everyone who has the early access version of the game to make up for these servers not working. You're going to be getting this, translating to 2,000 Luther coins, which you can use to go out and purchase cosmetics and things like that. For me personally, this still wouldn't make up for it, just because I don't really care too much about in-game cosmetics and most stuff that I play. It wouldn't make up taking away that valuable time I would have had to play it early, especially if you're on a tight schedule. Maybe that was the only time you could play, but at least they're doing something. At least they're making it up to the players. And we will continue to watch this game. I'm actually pretty interested in just seeing how it does do when real reviews do come out, like because no one really got early review codes, but later on, as reviews do come out, and to see everybody jumping in on the official release date and how they feel about this game. And like I said, if you've been playing it in early access, please let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on the game, the story, the gameplay, all that stuff. Okay, we'll talk about some layoffs, because we're going to continue to cover it. I see comments in my videos, and people they troll and they say, why aren't you talking about the Xbox layoffs? I've obviously talked about the Xbox layoffs. I've talked about literally every layoff that has occurred in the industry over the last year or so. Maybe I've missed a few, but I've really tried hard to cover them all. So we'll talk about this one here too. And that is SEGA of America. Looks like they are going to be laying off more than 10% of their staff. And this was found via Reset Era user who on Twitter saw this account, this automated X account, which actually lists verified layoffs as they are announced. And the account noted that according to the California Warrant Notice, SEGA of America will lay off 61 employees on March 8th, 2024. And then VGC actually confirmed via the state of California's Employment Development Department that SEGA of America has given notice of plans for 2 separate layoffs, one of 49 staff and then one of 12 staff, both of which will be made effective on March 8th. And they say, according to numerous employer information resources, SEGA of America has roughly 440 staff, meaning a layoff of this nature would theoretically affect around 13% of its workforce. So another layoff. And I think we are seeing this big deflation across the industry with all the layoffs that are happening. Clearly during the pandemic, all of these companies overhired, all of these companies overinflated to try to cash in. And now they're having to fix that by firing a bunch of people or laying off a bunch of people and reduce the size of their organization to reduce their costs, because it is just becoming unsustainable now with the development of these games, the development costs of these games to keep everybody here employed. They're all just making less money overall. So this is going to continue. We're going to see this throughout all of 2024. We're in January, and we are almost at that number of as many people that got laid off in 2023 has already almost happened in 2024, which is just pretty crazy to think about. Okay, this one is pretty exciting, and I hope this is absolutely true because we haven't had a new Burnout game in a long time, and I love the Burnout series. But it looks like potentially there could be one in development. This says fans think Need for Speed developer Stellar could be teasing a new Burnout. And this is, I guess, what they are getting this from. Stellar Entertainment has previously worked on Need for Speed Unbound, which was actually a good Need for Speed game. I will say that one was really cool. I loved the art style and everything. Need for Speed Remastered and Burnout Paradise Remastered. And now fans think it could be teasing another game in the Burnout series. They say, our way of giving you kind of a weird insider intel about what we're working on without actually telling you what we're working on. And this is what they posted on Twitter. And they say, and the bosses still haven't issued any takedowns. Obviously, Burnout takedown. Happy days. It continues with an attached post in an image reading, POV, you're about to be rear-ended. Which, I mean, to me sounds like they are working on a Burnout game. Which I really, really hope that's the case, because I think this would be a great game to bring back. Those games are extremely fun. We haven't had one for a relatively long time now. It just seems like this would be a perfect new racer or racer to bring back at this point in time. So hopefully this is true. Hopefully they actually are teasing this, and this is exactly what we are going to get announced relatively soon. And the thing here is there's a lot of people that have been laid off, but Stellar Entertainment is actually looking to hire, and I'm guessing to actually go ahead and work on this new Burnout game if it's actually what they are developing. All right, and finally, let's talk about this, and that is Ubisoft game. So there was a major report that came out from Insider Game, and they talked about what's going on at the company, morale at the company. A lot of employees are worried that they're going to be next to be laid off because of everything that has been happening. And honestly, I wouldn't be too shocked if that happened. Talked about people returning to work for like 2 mandatory days, and there was, I guess, people were upset about that. And they also talked about stats for their games, their recent games, sales and revenue. So there's some interesting info here. And we can see here that they released Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, Assassin's Creed Mirage, and Avatar's Frontiers of Pandora. Those are their 3 most recent games, all relatively vastly different games. But Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, which is their most recent release, is a 2D Metroidvania platformer. I'm playing through it, of 15 or so hours into it right now. Phenomenal game. I have a feeling once I've completed everything that I want to complete, it will go down as a Game of the Year candidate for me. But I love 2D platformers. I love Metroidvania games. So, and the action, the combat is just so good. The one thing with Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is there was instant negativity around this game because it wasn't a 3D Prince of Persia game. It wasn't the Prince of Persia remake that a lot of people were expecting. And overall, you could take a look here at the numbers, and they just does not seem very strong. They say there's been around 300K players for this game and a revenue of $15 million. Now, I would guess that it was cheaper to develop this style of game versus a game like Avatar or even Assassin's Creed Mirage. So those revenues, however, I feel like Ubisoft is not going to be happy about, which has me doubting that if we will see some more games like this from Ubisoft, which would be a shame because Prince of Persia The Lost Crown was a riskier direction, art direction, creative direction to go with this series and to go with one of their releases. And I think it absolutely paid off, as it's honestly one of Ubisoft's best games. But because it is more niche, because it doesn't have the fancy graphics of like an Assassin's Creed or even an Avatar, one of the best looking games out there, I think a lot of people just ignored it, and the instant negativity probably hurt it as well. But I would love to see Ubisoft take their characters and make smaller games like this for a lot of their franchises, because I think if they can make them as good as Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, it will eventually end up being a hit. Then there's Assassin's Creed Mirage, which had a revenue of 250 million and 5 million players. Assassin's Creed is their most successful franchise. It always will be successful. I love them. I loved Assassin's Creed Mirage. I'm looking forward to the one that should be coming out this year, which is the one based in Japan. It's going to be more of the open world RPG, so excited for that. And then you have Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, revenue of 133 million and 1.9 million players. So I think Assassin's Creed Mirage and Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, they're probably pretty happy with the overall success. I have started Avatar, haven't gotten too deep into it, but again, one of the most beautiful graphical games that I've seen in a while. I'm a fan of Ubisoft games. I always have been. I know there's a lot of hate on them in recent times, but I feel like them taking that pivot, that risk to put out Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is a good thing, and I wish they would have been more rewarded for that so we could see more of those styles of game. One thing that I have seen, because I did comment about this on X, was that I didn't realize, because I've been playing it on Xbox, is that they didn't release it into Steam, which probably does as well hurt these sales. But like, how much more people would have bought it on Steam to make it the success that Ubisoft probably wanted to make it? I guess we will never know unless they release it later in Steam. But I will end the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up. If you are new here, hit that subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Thank you.